Vanakkam, Namaste, and blessings to everyone. This is Dr. Bhairavi Balasubramaniam, PhD, the Sky Priestess. So, today we're going to be talking about the full moon in Scorpio. Now, for those of you who have been looking for astrological guidance in recent times, you know that I've done a very, very large video called May 2020 and what it holds for us. So, that's guidance that actually contains the seeds of what you're going to need to know and to remember for the rest of the year. Very important video. Just go through the videos that I've uploaded on my channel to get a whiff of that. So today, whilst I wasn't planning to, I kind of felt like I needed to do a video to recognize the Scorpio full moon. Now, first of all, Scorpio is a sign that gets a lot of shtick in astrology because a lot of people associate it with negativity, jealousy, possessiveness, and that's all true. I dated a Scorpio once and oi oi oi, I get that. That is all true. But at the same time, Scorpio is the energy of transformation. It's the phoenix, it's the eagle. It's also the scorpion. I used to tell people who are trying to get a grasp on Scorpio, I said, look, if you want to talk about rebirth and going into that fires of transmutation, the phoenix has to first die in order to come back. There's no rebirth without that actual death that needs to happen first. And that makes people a little antsy about Scorpio because they're like, oh my God, do I have to let go of who I was? Do I have to let go of what I thought the world was? And the answer is yes, and keep doing it, yes. What happens with the Scorpio full moon is that this is a time where we are all pulled, or rather, the truth comes knocking at the door. It's pulled into our line of sight, it's pulled into our vision, it's pulled into, our consciousness, and we just have to do something about it. So, I mean, I've been working and really, really, really working hard as best I can, managing the health stuff. And a lot of clients have been coming, and they know deep down inside what spirit is guiding them to do. But, there's whether it's a lack of self confidence, whether it's living out a false narrative, whether it's just some karmic bullshit. This is the time to really look at that truth and live your life in alignment of what it has to tell you. If you can do that all the time, that's fantastic. But Scorpio really brings out those truths that we don't want to see. And that's why people fear it. So when you look at the energy of the Scorpio full moon, this particular full moon is pretty intense because it's trining Neptune. And Neptune in Pisces is karma and a double triple dose of more karma. So we are actually bringing up old patterns, whether it's patterns we inherit from our ancestral and generational line, whether it's patterns that we basically inherit from the soul's journey. All of these old patterns, be it from your ancestors or from your own past lives, come up. And this is where you're being faced with the opportunity to either continue to hold on to something or to let go, let go, let go. And I've seen quite a powerful build up to this full moon in Scorpio. I mean, I had one recent case where, and I was looking at this, and I had written a piece about it on Instagram and my website. I had a recent client who really just reminded me that I needed to be on guard, and I'm sharing it because I know it'll be of benefit to other people. So this person insists, they absolutely insist they have to have an earlier session with me. And I go, okay, is this an emergency? And I get a bit of a confused answer. I go, okay, fine. Sometimes people who really need help, they might not be able to exactly express themselves as best as possible. And I was like, benefit of the doubt, benefit of the doubt. Come the session, the woman didn't even let me speak. And I was like, pretty pissed off. But I was like, no, 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 no. Trauma case, shouldn't have booked in the first place. Just wait it out, be kind, be gentle, say what you gotta say and let it go. So I was really being nice, on my best behavior here. And then I get this long ass email about her life and everything that has happened, and I'm just thinking to myself, holy shit, what did I allow? And I finally wrote back. I said, look, this doesn't help my work. I'm not a psychologist, and you need to take it there. And you should have, gone through my terms and conditions as to what cases I handle and what I don't. And, at this point, I'm already pretty pissed off. And I'm trying to maintain a professional sense of, okay, I get it. You're in a bad space, but, respect the boundary. And I get this next email, and that's all about, yes, but it was so rewarding for her to do that. And that's when I just said, bam, you fucked up. Now, there's a lot that I usually take in the name of helping someone. That's why I'm a priestess. But that doesn't mean I'm going to carry someone's karma. It doesn't mean that I'm going to, infinitely go there now. So I just said, this has been a disrespect of my time, of my energy. And I don't know, maybe I was channeling the Godfather, but I kind of went, I am not pleased by this disrespect, and I shall not be answering further. I didn't know where that came from, but it was at a human, and it was something that threw me off course. I was like, did I disrespect my divine work by not speaking when I should have? Did I, I was really agonizing it over and over and over again in my mind. Did I do something wrong? Did I bring this on myself? Because believe it or not, despite the fact I have a very, very tough reputation, I try to be nice to people as best I can, especially when I know they've suffered. And then I realized that my human experience of trauma was just a little bit too, I would say, over compassionate. And I had swayed from that balance of compassion vis-a-vis integrity in my work. And it was a very powerful lesson. I was very grateful for it afterwards because it really made me think about what I'm primarily doing here, and that's not to make people comfortable. It's about looking truth in the eye. Sometimes you will like that truth, and sometimes you will hate it. And that's really what truth tellers are here to do. And it's never about your personal ego. Your ego also includes the parts of you that want to help and the parts of you that are requiring help. It's something that actually goes beyond that. And sometimes to do the real work of spirit, you have to deal with the discomfort of feeling like, even though you're not, but feeling like you have to be a bit of an asshole to someone you really want to say something else to, even though all they may want is, someone to hold their hand and so on and so forth. But if that's not your job, that's not your job. So I took the lesson and I really sat with it. All of you following me should know what I'm like by now. I'll sit and think and think and look and look. And I got the message. Integrity is the core value. And walking your path of integrity is something which doesn't always feel good, even if you've been doing it for a long time. The universe constantly challenges you, it constantly tests you, it constantly pushes you back to that lesson. I'm not saying this in a way of bitching about anybody, but it was just such a profound reminder. Scorpio is right around the corner. And in not responding in an aggressive way, not initially, even that was not very aggressive, in not just, saying no, goodbye, but I gave all the opportunities I could. I just felt like I had handled that in a way that made me feel that it was actually okay to fully live by my own rules. Which maybe it might make sense to you, maybe it might not, but it's one of those personal realizations. But something just clicked in place for me. And subsequently, after that session, every other session became a lot easier. And in fact, I was dealing with some tremendous cases of trauma and some tremendous cases of abuse and violence, which do come my way. And everything was just buttery smooth. The moment I gave myself permission to overcome my own, oh God, is this going to hurt someone? Or, oh God, am I adding to the problem? I just surrendered and trusted into that process. Everything just clicked. And I was like, yay, Scorpio. Thank you. So by the time this actual moon happened, I was in a really good place. And so many weird things have been happening today. Issues with a restaurant that was quite shitty with its service, a major downpour, making sure I couldn't get lunch for a few hours, just the electronics not working, and just managing people with lightness in my heart, but the kind of lightness you can feel only when you're willing to go to the depths. So I'm quite happy about this moon, but that's only because I've been looking at it really, really closely. I know for a lot of other people, it's going to feel like karma just sucker punched them in the face, which may indeed be true. And it may be very raw, it may be very painful, but this is when you can't afford to turn away from it. And unfortunately, and this is why I wanted to share that first story, the reason why I couldn't help this person, I'm sure I did even in my response, but the reason why I couldn't help this person was because their head was so full of their story. So much so that even if you poured the purest light from the purest mountaintop and the purest, most rarefied air, it wasn't going to reach. The head was already full. in an attempt to avoid actually processing their emotions. And I saw this in a few other people afterwards as well. It's a theme. It's all about that mental loop and that mental story. This is who I am. This is what happened to me. These are my wounds. And when you've got all of that nailed down, there is no space for the light of spirit to go through. There is no space for the light of, whether you want to call it God, goddess, divinity. There's just no space. Your head is too full with your own stuff. And remember, when you look at Scorpio's energy, it's a water sign. This isn't about your intellect. It's not about mine either. Most of the time, I barely use it in terms of, talking about my degree or whatnot. It's about really just listening to the energy, feeling the energy, and allowing it to move in a natural way. What's happened is, because we have such exposure to so many books, so many teachings, so many teachers, so many writings, it's like we've built dams, we've built reservoirs in the mind. So all of our psychic energy keeps going in there. Oh, what? I was abused? Here, I will build a box called healing, and I will put my energy in that box, and I will keep filling that box. And whereas the part of you that actually needs healing is going, WTF, I'm right here. Where's my energy? So we're investing so much of power into the concepts and the constructs. We're actually stopping ourselves from going into the flow and simply experiencing. And that's why Scorpio is so scary. Because there are no handrails. There is no safety belt. There is simply into the abyss within. Then you realize actually it wasn't that dark. You just had some black wallpaper up, and so you couldn't see anything. Most of the time, what we think is a hole in ourselves is simply a part that we have yet to illuminate. It doesn't mean that there's something missing, but you're not going to know that until you turn the light on and you're willing to see. And that's why this particular Scorpio full moon is so, so, so scary for a lot of people. So, that's what I would say I've learned. And it's about just looking at everyday events, everyday actions, and looking at just how much emotional energy you want to invest into things. So when you're actually able to see that, your life becomes a lot simpler. If something bad happens, okay, how are we going to deal with this? That feels terrible. Oh God, take a couple of minutes and you pull yourself together. But the moment we actually stop giving ourselves that permission to feel, we just block ourselves up even more. And so this energy of the Scorpio full moon is kind of bursting through the floodgates. The dams are being broken down within. And that's why you need to find your way through it. And sometimes it's not about, in fact, often it's not about your mind, it's not about your conceptual maps, it's about just letting yourself to move. But I think you should get the idea. I mean, there's lots I could say, astrologically speaking. This does this, that does that, this is in that sign, that is in that sign, but ultimately it'll come back to the same message. And I believe in economy of energy. Be sustainable, be real about it. What I would say is there's going to be a lot of focus on relationships. Relationships is coming in a big way as the vehicle for all of this stuff, because Venus in Gemini is squaring Neptune in Pisces. So that's going to be the space and the terrain where a lot of these deep truths are coming up, and that can be quite painful, especially if people are being forced to cohabit with each other for months on end. So be gentle. Understand that there is a human component behind all of this. Be compassionate, but don't be compassionate to the point where you end up condoning abuse, because that shit creates karma that you're going to end up having to clear anyway. So you might as well just be true about it. But beyond that, I would say that's the general gist of my message for the Scorpio full moon. One thing that people may be interested in knowing is that this full moon is also square Therios, the hunter stalker, which is why there's a lot of fear in the collective coming up as well. And that is also okay. Remember, the hunter stalker doesn't have much power if he is unmasked. You can't do covert surveillance if someone knows you're standing right there. And that is why it's so important to look at how this emerges in matters of the heart, matters to do with marriage, love, children, creative and passionate projects, because Therios in Leo is squaring the sun, and of course the sun in Taurus and the moon in Scorpio. So this moon is actually part of a T-square if we include Therios in the alignment. And if you have anything near, say, 17 to 16 degrees Aquarius, it'll become a grand fixed cross. But yeah, that's what I would have to say. Let's have a quick look at the messages and say hi to everybody. So, hello, everyone. Hello, Matt Titan. Nice name. Hello, Isis. Hello, Andy. Hello, Dreamwise family. Hello, Queenie from MYC. Hello, Weeby. My back is improving. Thank you for asking, but it's a process. Hello, Stan. Hello, N Black. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, Ms. Real. Hello, Sean. Weeby wants to know, does this have effect only for Scorpio sun signs? For every sun sign. Every alignment affects every sign. They just affect them differently. Faith says she's glad she caught me live. Hello, Faith. Hello, Christine. Hello, 305 Capricorn. Hello, Brandon. Nice to see you. Hello, Munich. Hello, Vero. Hello, Sean. I think I might have already said that. Hello, M. Shiva. Hello, Davina. Hello, MS Living Life. Hello, Melissa. Hi, Pat. Hi, Emma. Hey, Erin. I think I caught up to everybody. And everyone else who's also there. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, angelic goddess. Straight back at you. Hello, beautiful. So that's what's come up for this. And yeah, does anyone have any questions? Do not send me charts. I will send you an invoice. You don't want that. Tell me in general questions that I can help you with. Well, you might want that if you want a session, but for here, is there any questions I can help anybody with? Keep it general. Hello, Kavya. Hello, Goddess Essence. Energy with the lightning bolt. I like it. Hello, FJ. Hello, Karen. Hello, Anne. Okay, someone wants to know about full moon on the ascendant. I had a client with this alignment today. Long story short, it's basically just look at yourself in the mirror. Your answers will come. Look at the way you see yourself. Look at what is really presenting itself immediately to you in your life. It just means that the focus is smack bang in your face and you can't avoid it. Hassan says hello from Arizona. Hello. Some of you were at my workshop at Arizona, and I know that left quite an impact. And I know some of you were talking about it for a while afterwards, maybe still are. That was an interesting time. I remember going into the desert with some friends, and I saw these rows and rows of these tall, I think they call saguaro cacti. That was quite amazing. Anyway, we have a question. And if I haven't said that already, hi Priya. Okay, and we have a question from the Dreamwise family. Scorpio symbolizing death. How do we surrender to that energy and transformation? Great questions. That's the kind of question I need here. This is why excellent information covering all kinds of topics. You're going to find something that really resonates with you, and it was great to be interviewed by them. So let's see. How do we surrender to the energy and transformation that is symbolized by death? Okay, let's take a step back. If we look at like humanity for thousands and thousands of years ago, do you think they would have asked that question? I mean, for them, for human societies that lived a long time ago, do you think this would be an issue? And if so, why? If not, why? My understanding of, and people may have different answers for that, that's fine. But my understanding of the ancients, and I'm not trying to pedestalize them, is that that question would not have been as relevant because life and death was seen as a very dynamic and a very fluid part of existence. But this was in very, very, very old societies. So they understood life and death as part of the cycle of the Great Mother. Well, the Mother Earth, Mother Planet, Mother Goddess, which is why the goddesses have so many forms. So for them, it was not a question of something that one needed to, it wasn't something external. It was kind of like going home. But in today's society, we do our best to mitigate death, whether it's through better nutrition, supplements, modern medicine. The idea of death frightens us because we've changed as a society. We've become much more focused on material acquisitions. On that note, I'm still on the quest to manage to consolidate my 5 bags of clothing into just 2 bags. So I'm on a purge. So I have as little things as possible and only truly what matters. But when we begin to go back in terms of our organic relationship with the earth, the question is no longer relevant. But in modern society, because we are out of that larger cycle and experience of the feminine, it that's where that question comes from. Ultimately, when I'm talking about the divine feminine, I'm not just talking about women or beings who have wombs. I'm talking about that principle of birth and death and rebirth. I mean, as far as I know, the volcano goddess Pele and her mother Haumea in astrology are very, very powerful symbols of the way the creatrix also creates through destruction. The archetype of Kali is also, a powerful indication of that. But if we were to look at it in terms of a planetary movement, let's say a forest fire, I don't see it having a vagina. It's a fire. It is that principle of life and death embodied. So I don't want any of you to like fixate on the body for this. So when we surrender archetypically to that aspect of the divine feminine, it is in some sense something that we've already done thousands and thousands of years ago. But we don't need a name for it. We don't need a body for it. We don't need a mantra for it. It is just that natural flow of life that we have become disconnected from. So, long winded way of answering the question, we need to go back to the feminine, but I would say the principle of the feminine that is beyond form and that informs all of creation and matter. So let's go to the next question. Hopefully that answers it. The next question is from VB. Is it okay to connect with some long lost friends as this feeling has been there for a couple of days? Now, my friends, if you recall the May 2020 video where I also talk about the upcoming Venus retrograde, you can, but be sure that you're not just trying to recreate old karmic patterns. If this is something that'll bring you joy, do it. But if you're doing it because you're desperate to fill a certain need or a certain perceived hole in your soul, you might just be inviting trouble that you don't need to have. So it depends on the friend and it depends on why. Long story short. Let's see. Next. Pat wants to know, how does the full moon affect Geminis? Well, you see, Pat, you can't really generalize that way because the charts are very sensitive, and really, it's probably more useful to look at your ascendant rather than your sun sign, because so much is determined by the ascendant. The ascendant, in some ways, is the way that spirit allows its light to enter you and the different houses of the chart. But long story short, because of the Venus Neptune square going on, it's going to be a time for Geminis in general to look at the way they match their words to their material realities. But again, long story short. Bui Muk Shekwa asks, any advice for confrontations and fights right now? Some fights are useful. Some fights need to happen and some fights don't. If you're in a situation where the person you're fighting with is unreasonable, or you're going to have to see their faces every single day after that, maybe table a confrontation until you're in a space where you can actually have space. In this COVID times, I don't know if that's possible. Honestly, I would say try to avoid it. If you had the freedom to go stomp off and be by yourself for a few hours, maybe okay. But if you're going to have to see each other at dinner again or breakfast or whatever, it's not a good idea. Try to channel the energy of what you're frustrated about in writing rather than a direct exchange of speech. That is for face-to-face stuff. If it's online stuff, probably not worth it right now unless you're having an online relationship. In which case, writing it down, taking the time, thinking it through would be the best way to proceed. Here we go. Angelic Goddess says, thank you for always being real and not sugarcoating it. You are most... Okay. Hello, Cynthia. All right, we have another question from Angelica Maria. Any reflections about the influence of Neptune trining the full moon and south node close to the galactic center? The south node is not close to the galactic center yet, my friend. That's only going to be happening in the later part of the year. Neptune trining the full moon, karma comes out of the woodworks. You've got to see what comes out. Some of you are going to feel very regenerated. Some of you are going to see bonds that need to be cut, transmuted, dissolved, or integrated. I can't generalize beyond that because it depends on your karma. Okay, Anne wants to know, now this is a tough question. Where is the continued outward anger of white privilege coming from? We are experiencing a substantial rise again here in the US. Are you talking about the anger towards white privilege, or are you talking about white people's anger? Could you just help me clarify it? Is it the anger towards that entrenched systemic inequality, or is it the anger that they seem to be feeling and fueling, especially in minority hate groups? But I'll get back to that question, but Anne, I need a bit more clarity. Okay, VB says, are you saying this is a time for the transformation of the personality for the better good, which many people may be looking for? It can be if you have the groundedness and the support and the willingness to look into your own shadows. People who are not willing to look or not able to look can find this actually as a very destabilizing time. Gerard asks, how do we deal with past relationships that may come back to us at this time? With extreme caution. Sometimes a relationship that comes in this pre-Venus retrograde period can actually be the old thing that you want. But sometimes it's basically the same old idiot that you dated 20,000 years ago that has not changed at all. So it really, really, really depends. Go into it with caution. Remember that whatever people were, whatever their karma was in the past, does not need to be what it is today. Josie says, hello. Hello, Josie. Rika asks, any shadow work advice? That's a big question. I need more details, Rika. What advice are you looking for? Anne says, okay, we're going back to Anne's question, and it's an important question, and I will try to answer it. It's a big one. It's a big one. So the anger that is towards people of color. Now I'm going to say something that might make a lot of people pissed off, but that's never stopped me. I've had the good fortune and privilege to, especially after the interview with the Dreamwise team, to meet wonderful people from the African American community, and I see just the level of work they've done on themselves. They've taken this terrible, terrible, terrible ancestral inheritance of slavery, and they have worked on it to transmute it, to bring so much power and positivity into their lives. And I'm not saying everyone's done it. There are people of color. We're all colored, but you know what I'm saying. As in, but they are of course African Americans who are still very, very much oppressed by the system and caught in very chaotic states. I was literally talking about this with a friend of mine in Philadelphia. She's Caucasian, but as far as I'm concerned, she has a brown soul. She doesn't think like a lot of other Caucasians for some reason. She just she has a way of just seeing it in a way that's actually much closer to an indigenous perspective. Now we were talking about this, and she was like, "Yes, I see this in Philadelphia. There are, African Americans who are stuck in the system, who are being ground down in the system, and then there are some of them who just bring this light." And I've certainly seen that. I'm not saying that other racial groups aren't doing this, but if you're looking at numbers, I really see this profound spiritual revival. Whether it's following old traditions or whether it's working with new metaphysics, we're seeing that in the Black community in the United States. And I can see that in the clients that I'm encountering from that community. There's just so much of richness, depth, and purity. And at the risk of either exciting to people or offending people, my friend was just like, there's just something about it. I was like, yeah, it's like bloody chocolate. But there's something very rich and deep about the work that's being done. And honestly, I don't want to be reductionist about it, but looking at it from a bird's eye perspective, I would say it's jealousy. There's so much of intergenerational work that needs to be done, especially by people of Caucasian inheritance and ethnicity that come from northwestern Europe that settled as settlers in the United States. There is so much of intergenerational work that has to be done. And a lot of them haven't done it. They haven't even begun to do it. Whereas for Black people, you've had to do it to survive. You've had to do it to survive, you know? You've had to do it to actually survive and thrive in a situation where you're being ground down. So, this is the kind of energy where, let's put it this way, this is the kind of energy where seeing the community that has actually worked on this and done this is actually going to, you're going to be the target of a lot of ire of the groups who really should be working on it and are not. So that's why I would say that's happening. And I hope that, that's resonating with you. Getting back to the comments list, we see Teresa Lange, Lakota grandmother watching from the Black Hills. Much respect to you. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, now Raymond has asked an important question. He said he noticed that I said in a previous video that things would slow down as far as movement on 11. However, a lot of places are opening up. What should we expect from this slowdown? Now, this is a really good question. When I'm talking about, and I'm not backtracking on what I say because I don't do that stuff. This is a time where the natural flow and movement of energy needs to slow down. There's going to be that slowdown in the flow of energy. And then there's going to be people who are not listening to it. So even if they may be opening up now, they're probably going to want to wish they had waited. And that's something only time can tell. The people who are in the flow are going to go slow. And the people who are not are going to speed and find out why it was finally the turtle who won the race. I'm looking at future trends, my friend. So you're going to be seeing the successes and sustainability of the actions people take now only in the future. So, like I said, if you want to be in the flow, go slow. But again, this also does depend on what a person's chart is doing and what a person's chart is saying. Remember that short-term projects or projects where you're just slowly easing into something bigger is fine. Do not launch into anything major right now. I stand by that because you're probably going to wonder, why? Why did I commit to something very long-term right now? But again, you can take my word for it or you can find out the hard way. It's up to you. Any other questions? Let's see. No, I don't see more questions, but I do see some friends. Hello, Andrea. Okay, nice to see you. She's a very nice lady. Who else do we see here? Do we have any more questions? Advice for Aries rising. Hello, Philip. Philip Boone says peace. Peace back to you. Advice for Aries rising. Let me think a moment. Early, late, or middle Aries? Do you know? You're most welcome, Tammy. Someone's just going, thank you, and I'm like, yay. Shurika wants advice for Aries rising. Is it early Aries, mid Aries, or late Aries? This is why astrology is so specific. Okay, all right. Antonis wants to know, about dating. It's always hard to fix yourself alone, although it sounds like the thing to do. The problem is in the question. We do not need to be fixed. We are what we are. And healing comes when we accept that we are what we are right now, and there is more that we can become. Now, when you are, because see, that's the second part of the question, that there's a problem, is that you're talking about fixing yourself alone. The truth is, you are never alone. None of us are ever truly alone. We have all of our ancestors. Most people have their ancestors around them. There are some exceptional cases, which is a different conversation. There are guides and teams, and there is spirit. And there's a whole bunch of psychic energy that the collective is working on. And there's a whole bunch of energy coming through the cosmos. You are never alone, my friend, and there is nothing that you need to fix about yourself. Now, you can date. There's nothing wrong with dating. But there's a difference between dating someone because you want them to repair you, as if you were a broken washing machine. And there is a difference between using dating as a means of distraction from the actual inner work. I would say a good relationship, especially at this time, is not something that substitutes or distracts you from inner work, but enhances it. And you don't need your date or your partner to be your therapist either, because that's very, very, very hard. It's very hard for two facilitators to be in a relationship because each one is constantly trying to do something to help the other. And sometimes it's just about being. If you can be in a relationship where you're okay in just that space of being and hanging and chilling out, there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when you're trying to move energy in unnatural ways to try and fix problems that the mind has mostly created. And I hope that answers the question. Uh, okay. Rika, I still need to know which, well, I'll give you some general stuff for Aries. If you've got an Aries rising, especially with this moon, you need to look at financial and health stuff. That's as general as I can take it because I don't know what the degree is. For late Aries rising, I think there's something going on with the galactic center, but it's not the south node. Hang on. If it's late Aries rising, let me just check real quick. Late Aries rising should be sextiling Mars in Aquarius. Late Aries rising should be trining the galactic center as well. It's a very basic reminder, but it's an important reminder that you need to differentiate between energy that comes through the emotional channels and energy that wants to be filtered through the mind. So it's about finding that balance between receiving and expressing it out there. I would say again, these are very, very general comments. You'd have to look at the chart. Advice, okay, Audie wants to know advice for a couple who are both Scorpio moons. Boundaries. Don't try to fix each other. Books on shadow work. I Am Goddess wants to know. Oh, books. I hate this part. To be honest, I can just tell you what worked for me. I learned a lot about spirituality by watching things, observing things, thinking about things, feeling through things, and it's for me has always been less about getting it from the external. But in fact, I don't even like that construct of shadow work personally, just because it's been so hyped up, so sexualized. But and it's like it's not like a it's not like a very specific type of work that is different from all other spiritual works. I would actually say rather than focusing on shadow work as a specific thing, unless you are a shaman, unless you are a facilitator who works in shamanic ways, I would actually say a better thing to do would be to actually study a more general thing which has to do with the energy of the lower chakras in particular. Anatomy of Spirit by Carolyn MYSS, is a book I recommend every spiritualist read at least once because it gives you that language to understand. Now, B Girl says, hang on, whoop. B Girl says, this full moon is opposite my midheaven, sun conjunct midheaven, and just past natal sun. Any significance? Well, yes, but really it's up to you to act on it. See, powerful alignments can come and go. They can come and go. Benevolent things that people say are benevolent alignments can happen in the chart, but unless you actually do something about it, it's not going to have any significance. Generally speaking, it just means that there's something that you need to look at in your work-life balance, something that may be happening in the home or in your emotions, or something to do with your career. And it may be a time where you need to be realer about that. And whether you act on it is, that's what gives it significance. Okay, so let me see. Would someone born on the 19th be considered a cusp? 19th of which month? Are you talking about this month? Hang on. Where did it go? Well, I would say it really depends on time zones. If you're looking just in general on the topic of cusps, it depends on time zones. So the best thing that you can do is to actually draw the chart up to see, whether a sign is at 0 degrees of the other sign or if it's a 29 of the one prior to it, but that's general advice. Draw up the chart and actually find it out. You can do that online. Easiest way is to draw the chart up online and find out. Okay, let's see. I Am Goddess says, I am early rising Aries. Can you please answer both? Yes, that's done. Nina says, do you think it would be best to wait until 2021 to enter into committed relationships? Yes, double yes. Here we go. No worries, Antonis. Dusty Whistle says, Taurus Sun, with Taurus in the 12th and Chiron in Taurus. Okay. Would love some advice concerning the transit of Uranus and Taurus. Thanks for the help. Always grateful for commitment to community. Okay. Brr. I would say for you, especially you have to develop a better relationship with the actual energy of the earth. You have to work with either yourself, your connection with spirit, or facilitators that actually get you in tune with that organic energy of the planet. That I would say would be your greatest facilitator. But make sure that person actually has the keys to the pathway you seek. All right, Stray Panther gives me this heart and lightning. I like it. Christine says, great advice. You're welcome. Emma Lawson, advice for Pisces Ascendant Leo. Again, it really depends if it's early, late, or medium, middle, not medium. Um, but this would apply generally for Pisces Ascendant Leo Sun. At this time in particular, you got to be very clear as to what's yours and what's not yours, what may be projected onto you, and what are you projecting onto other people, especially your partner, kids, and creative collaborators. Let's see. Da, da, da. Okay. Raymond L., do you foresee any geographical changes from disasters in the Americas? Yeah, actually, all over the world. That's not just this year, that's also the next year. Oh, no. Apparently, there's a very awful gas tragedy in India today. I've been working all day, so I have not had a chance to look at this. So I'm just Googling this. Oh, no, it happened in Vizag? Are you kidding me? That's terrible. Okay. So apparently, oh no. Oh, I've been to that town. Oh, God. Okay. All right. Let's see. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Um, Vizag. Where is that? Okay. Is there anything astrologically that is causing such explosive events? Yes, the Scorpio full moon would do it. And as tragic as this is probably also going to um, bring light to maybe something that was should have maybe a safety procedure was not followed, or maybe there's some swindling going underfoot. There's something has been covered up, and literally this event is going to force that into the light. But I would highly recommend people in the area to do prayers for those who have departed. Okay, Regina says, thank you. Brandon says, advice for Scorpio this month with the aligning energies. Whoa, let me think. Well, there's a lot of Taurus, and Scorpios are going to have to deal with that Taurian energy. The simple answer is ground, ground, ground. If you're thinking about it too much, if you're trying to control it too much, it's not going to work. Monique wants to know crystals work for any recommendations for a Cancer Sun, Cancer Rising, Scorpio Moon, Aquamarine. Michelle says, good morning. Okay, lots of love, lots of love. Carmen wants advice for Scorpio Rising, Libra Sun, Aries Moon. Libra Sun, Aries Moon. So which houses would that be in? Wait, let me think. Don't get drawn into weird contracts in the name of service and relationship. That's what I would say. Susan, Cancer Rising, 6 degrees. Cancer Rising, 6 degrees. I think there's something else you think. Oh. Cancer Rising, 6 degrees. You need to do some past life clearing work right now. Mickey Herrera, Scorpio Rising. Look at what's coming up in your face. Look at what's coming up in your life around you. Sun Scorpio, Moon Cancer, Taurus Rising. Revisit previous comments. Okay. Any significance with the full moon and the woman's cycle? Some women menstruate on the full moon, some women menstruate on the new moon, some women menstruate in between. So, no, it depends on the woman. Martini says, I just joined. Can you do a recap? You can play this video from the beginning so you can recap. All right. So, any good books that dive deeper into the chakra systems beyond the basic seven? Everyone has an idea, they know what it is. Um, so I wouldn't feel confident recommending something that I would say is definitive, but I would say the person that I would say comes closest to the truth would be Judy Hall. Look up Judy Hall. Deeper into starting projects and business during this time, Rika, it really comes down to your chart. And if you want that level of clarity, you're going to have to invest in yourself and book a session. Just because some things are very sensitive to the chart and sensitive to timings. Stereo 5 Capricorn sends hearts and crowns. Yay, yay. Yours truly, Mars in Pisces for Western. Any advice? I'm not yelling, I just wanted to catch your attention. Uh, that would be a weird thing to yell. My Mars is in Pisces. Um, Spend more time in meditation. Make sure that you eat well, as in not too heavy. Eat healthy. Get plenty of sleep. Stay away from weird things. Michelle, since others are asking with the Taurus, Capricorn rising, this is important. The Cappies really need to watch out for energies that they're storing in their spine and their bones. The Cappies need to do a lot of physical release at this time. Oh, Amy wants to know, full moon is conjunct with her Neptune and BML. Psychic discernment, psychic clearing, take a salt bath with frankincense. Marcus, hi, I'm happy I made it here. Any advice for Sun in Taurus, Moon in Taurus, Rising in Taurus? Sun in Taurus, Moon in Aquarius, Rising in Aquarius. Oh, you're the person I've been waiting for, Marcus. Your chart may have a grand fixed cross with the Sun, the Moon, and Therius. You need to really be looking at, how do I best describe this? Look at what you are feeling and look at how you are intellectualizing what you are feeling. And look at the intellectual concept that you use to understand what you're feeling and how that shapes your relationship with relationships. And if you can make sense of that, good luck. All things loves one. I'm Sun, Scorpio, Stellium in Scorpio, Stellium in Libra, ugh. There's a lot going on. Carmen sends, it's funny, you know this prayer sign that everyone uses on the emojis? I actually read it was meant to be a high five. So, when people are setting the symbols, and I use it myself when there's disasters or just wanting to show respect, it's basically high fiving, which is hilarious. Okay, Naomi says thank you, welcome. Savita says hi, Bhairavi. Hi, Savita. Okay, just rising through. Gemini Sun, Geminis. Gemini Sun and Pisces, Aries, Moon, Cusp, Leo, Rising. Ooh, let me think about this for a sec. Let me think for a sec. You're not going to like what I have to say, but look for patterns of either its overbearingness, if that's such a word, or patterns of psychic predation and parasitism in yourself first. There may be stuff there that you need to uncover. Gabriel, Sun, Moon, Scorpio, Ascendant, Gemini, any advice? Look to your relationships and see what that brings up from you. Megan's waving hi from Ireland. Calvin says, what up, priestess? I'm busy. That what up? Thanks for your service. You appreciate it, my sister. Thank you very much. C. Sully, Scorpio Sun, Gemini Rising, Gemini Moon. Similarly, look at relationships. Look for hidden details in relationships. All things loved one. Which of your reading offerings would be best to choose for personal users? The 45-minute session. My policy is if I don't use the time, I refund you the difference. Divine Relationship Alchemy. Cap Rising, Pluto and Scorpio. Check your body. Do trauma release from your bones and your tissues and muscles and whatnot. Sakhemrat, Scorpio Rising 21. Not sure how to take this full moon. Don't think about it, just feel it. Melly Sweets, advice for Taurus Sun and Virgo Moon. Hang on, let me plug in my phone before it dies. Hang on. Hang on. There we go. Wait. Taurus Sun and Virgo Moon. Eat well and like your food. Okay, yours truly says thank you. All things love one, like I said, the 45-minute session. Remember, there's a lot of you typing, and there's one of me, which is cool, but I need a minute to look at the stuff. Okay, so Libra rising, Leo moon. Ooh, that one is a bit tough. See, Libras, I like you. I like Libra risings. I like Libra suns. Just because you actually end up doing a lot without realizing it. I would actually say stick to your own lane right now and celebrate you. And early Aries sun, Leo moon, Cancer rising. Pay attention to the health of your head. That's probably the most important thing. Angelic goddess, sun in Sag, moon in Sag, Aries. Keep your thoughts to yourself currently. Wait before you speak. Ariel, triple Leo, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, all in Leo. Any wisdom, sky priestess, go paint something. Megan, Aqua Sun, Cancer Moon, Scorpio Rising. Again, look at the intellectual construct that you have surrounding other people and yourself. Teresa, North Node in Aquarius, clarity about upcoming nodal shift, watch your friends and follow your heart. Melly, Taurus Sun, Virgo Moon advice. I think I've covered this, so go back to the recording. Martini, you giving me a new look at the world and myself. Thank you. Most welcome. Pure Light, we love you. Thank you. It's nice to be loved. Christine, any advice for Pisces Sun, Taurus Rising, Scorpio Moon? You need to see what energy you're carrying is yours and what is not yours and do a clearing on your emotional and physical body. Stray Panther, Aquarius Sun, Capricorn Cusp, nice. Sagittarius Moon. This is the energy that requires you to clear imprints from your mental and astral bodies. Nina, full moon is conjuncting my sun, Mercury, Mars, and Pluto. No wonder you are asking about relationships. Squaring my aqua ascendant, heavy. Heavy, but you are wise, honey. You got the pulse. Wait before you commit to anything. Megan says, hope you're well. You appreciate it. Thank you. Melly says, lol, thanks. Hey, it's a lot of work. Savita says, advice for Leo sun in Sagittarius moon. Let's see. Creativity is important, but look at what you're creating and what you're channeling through that creativity. Look at parts that are light, parts that are dark. Anyway, I am tired, so I'm just going to finish with the last one that I see on the list. And honestly, if you want to know more information, book a session with me. www.theskypriestess.as.me. And if it's too complicated, type in Bhairavi Sky Priestess book session. You will find me. If you want to leave a contribution for my work, that is more than welcomed. That's www.paypal.me/theskypriestess. So, and of course, what you contribute is greatly appreciated. This takes a lot of energy to do. And having said that, I am just going to pick one more question, just because people are asking. Okay, I haven't set up Cash App yet because I'm in Malaysia. So PayPal is really best for me. So I will provide the links to make it easier for people. Yes, you can book sessions through the website. And really, I'm just giving like little tiny tidbits, very, very tiny tidbits based on very little pieces of knowledge and information of your chart. If you want in-depth advice, you gotta get an in-depth reading. But it just depends what you need. So yes, book a session through the website or contribute where you can, because honey, this takes energy. And I'm just going to pick one more question from the list that's here. I'm going to pick Joyous Day's question. Sun on the galactic center, rising in Capricorn, any advice? Sun on the Capricorn. So, okay. Do not take the burdens of the world because it is not your responsibility to do so. Focus on emptying the cup and realize for some people that act of emptying is your sacred service to this planet. That's what I would have to say. So take care. Very many blessings to all of you. Lots and lots and lots of love. Thank you for participating in this live feed. And remember, if you want more information on your charts, book a session. If you want to support my work, make a contribution, because at the end of the day, I gotta eat. So take care. Lots of love. Cha-cha for now. Catch the replay. It's chock full with lots and lots and lots of information. Bye-bye.